Okay, let's go. Um, okay. So anyone wants to tell what is the last topic we saw in our previous session?
Yeah, last topic we have discussed about the storage account, the access token.
After that, like we did discuss some other topic. After access token, we talked something
Yeah.
else actually.
Then we talked about the internet connectivity with the website, and before that we talked about the versioning and the file storage and
Hmm?
how.
Blob storage.
No, no,
Yeah,
leave storage part. After storage, what did we discuss?
we talked about the internet part, how the internet is connecting from our laptop to the how the internet connections going through,
Okay, right. And we
and
did talk about
you will show the website how the website will work.
correct, correct. So if you guys remember, we did talk about private DNS
Yeah,
and
yes,
Yes, we
the
have discussed. Yeah.
okay, good. So we talked about private DNS, then A record, then CNAME. We saw all those things in a
Yes,
practical
yes.
way, how you can register a local domain which is going to be private to that network, right? So that is what we have seen. So today, like at least like it is good for now if you just know what is a record and C name record. So one is to translate uh, a request a URL to IP, and other one is to create an alias for your website or the URL or the domain name, right? So today, what we are going to see is whatever we have seen in the previous class, it was for the internal side, internal to a specific network, right? So when I say internal, I can register for any name, whatever I want, and I don't have to buy a domain for that. I don't have to go for an external vendor and buy a domain. So today, what we are going to see is like how you can have a public domain which is going to be available over internet. If you remember the domain which we got last time, it was naveen.local is what I had. And I also showed you like we cannot have this domain accessible on the public internet. So today we are going to see how we can set up one. Okay. So before going to that part, okay. So Azure by default has some DNS. Okay. For example, this is a web VM. Probably let me SSH. Okay. Like how we usually do, let's simply install Nginx. Okay. That is what we were using. I'll just connect to this VM. And let's see. Yeah, we are in this VM. What I will do is sudo apt install nginx. Let's install this and we'll keep it. Well, that is going on. What I wanted to show you is like from the VM itself, you have something called configure DNS name. Okay, let's click on this and the VM name, whatever I've given is web VM1, but I can type a DNS name here saying web server. So if you see this DNS, okay, let me save this. Let's save. And this is coming with a default domain which Azure is providing. The DNS name, if you see centralindia.cloudapp.azure.com, okay, this is the default name which we are getting, okay, for our server. Now, if I copy this IP address, let's see if it is accessible. Let's do call local host. Basically, I wanted to see this page, okay, which is an Nginx page. Ideally, it should appear here. Anyone wants to guess like why this is not working? Let's do some troubleshooting also. I know like this is installed locally, but I am taking the public IP and I'm hitting it from the browser. It is not working. So what could be the possible reason?
The DNS registered is not. It might not be happen.
Okay, no, we are not hitting the DNS itself. It is the IP only we are talking about. So that is no. So we are trying
We
with the
don't
IP.
have.
Mhm. Sorry, what was it?
Do
Someone
you have
was
a
asking.
public IP for that?
Yes. So this, if you see here, this is the public IP and this is the VM and this is the IP I am hitting.
In the VM, the default we used to get right. The enable the public IP, is that enabled
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this?
this is the public IP. You see here, right? So
Hmm.
we, in fact, like I did SSH using the public IP only. So this is the public IP here. And if you see, this is like not giving the page which we are supposed to get. So just think, what other things would be contributing?
The outbound connections might be not permitting.
Okay, so outbound is working. That is why I was able to install this package. Okay, and in this case, outbound is something this VM is going to send. Okay, if VM is able to reach the internet, that confirms outbound connection is working. But uh, do you think we should focus on inbound rather than outbound in this case? Because locally, I'm able to do a curl on localhost, it is working. But from my client machine, if I'm trying to hit some process which is running in a server, that should be an inbound connection to
Inbound.
that server, right?
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, Naveen. Yep.
Okay. So where do I check?
You have to go to the VNet, the subnet, and you can check from there.
Okay, let's go. This is the VNet I have. Okay. And if I go to the subnets, this is the default subnet I have. So here the default outbound everything is accessible, but there is a place where you can check. I told you the inbound and outbound rules. Guys, I mean, forgot forgot the things.
Mhm.
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, okay, let me go here. So it is here. Okay, but by looking at the screen, can you tell like what is the actual term which we have to, or the actual component which we have to check from the screen? I'm just trying to give some hints. The answer is in the screen. Just look at the details, what is available. Security rules. Okay, where do you see security rules? This one, admin security rules. No, not this. Okay, let's see. Yes. Okay, nothing is there actually for the security rules. If I do configure also, it goes to the network manager. That is a different one. Okay, so I'll tell you the answer. It is the network security group. Okay, so if you remember, under network security group is where you define what is the inbound and outbound condition. You all are able to recollect this window?
Yes, yes, Naveen.
Okay, great. So this can be attached to your network interface or subnet. So in our case, this NSG is attached to our NIC, which is completely fine. So what I'm going to do is let's go to this NSG and inbound. I'll just say add. So source can be any. Destination is going to be any, okay, because we are going over the internet. And service is going to be HTTP, okay, which is like on port 80. And let's keep the priority. I'll say how HTTP traffic. Let's add. And so here I have given like source as any, which means you can also hit that IP, and destination is going to be that server. Let's try refreshing. Now you see, right? If you are also able to, if you are hitting this IP, you should also be able to hit that page. Okay. So now this is the place. Okay. So I know like it would be too many things which we have seen, but just see if you can recollect it. Okay, it's going to be just the flow. Probably, if what we will do is probably tomorrow. Do you think we'll do a recap of all the things whatever we have seen till now? One video like what all things whatever we have seen till now. You think it is good to have one recap, or we'll do at the end?
Yeah, we'll do tomorrow. Yeah, because
Okay,
it's good
fine.
to have.
Okay, fine. So now we have enabled the port and we are able to access. Okay. What I wanted to show is we will configure the DNS, right? So let's go here. For example, this is our DNS. Now, if I'm hitting this also, it should work because this is mapped to our IP address. Okay. But let's say I don't want all these custom things which Azure is providing. Okay. For that, we have to have our own domain to do that configuration. Okay. So there are like multiple vendors or multiple places where you can purchase the domain, but unfortunately, like as of now, you cannot purchase a domain from Azure portal itself. So for this demo, I'm using this GoDaddy. Okay, so I have a domain called imdown.biz. Okay, this is my own domain. What we wanted to do is we wanted to basically route the traffic, whatever is coming to this address. Okay. Just remember, like this is our public IP and this is the DNS which I have on the Azure side, but I don't want to do this. Okay. So what we will do, let's go here and first let's remove this DNS. Okay. So that we don't have any DNS for this IP. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is this is like so you remember the private DNS whatever we had, right? So similarly, okay, um, if you remember the A record whatever we had, it is going to translate the IP into a domain, right? So what we will do right now is in GoDaddy I can say like this is like another DNS management area, okay? What I will do is like these are the existing records which is already available. Now I'll say add record, okay, and I want to add a record, and I'll just say www, which is it's going to go to www.imdown.biz, okay, and here I would be giving the public IP of this VM, okay. So this is same what we have done for the private DNS. Okay, but in this case, we have a different vendor who is managing my domain. But as of now, whatever we are doing, it is on the public IP. Okay, so let's save this. Now, what will happen is, okay, let's see if this entry is made. Okay, it's saying there is a conflict uh, with another record. Okay, let's see what are the other A records. This is one. This, let me do like this. I'll just say site. Let's refresh this because I did check. There was no other records. That's when I thought we'll do this. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, and before that, this is a C name. That's okay. Let's add paste. Okay, basically it's like telling this. Okay, we'll do like this. Okay, instead of that, let's add this. Now, what I'm going to do is, this is the thing, right? So if I take this dot, I am down dot this. If, okay, yeah, it is working. So what we did, this is the subdomain, okay, which we had. For example, okay, let me open Notepad. We added this to our DNS. So my domain name was I am down.biz. Okay. So I added this entry, which means like my entry a record is going to be something like this, which means whenever there is a request for this site, okay, it's going to go through all the process which we discussed last session. Okay, it will go to the name server. Okay, if you see, GoDaddy has certain name servers, which is what you see as NS record. Okay, NS17 domaincontrol.com, NS18. So this one, you see, you cannot even delete it. Okay, so this is going to hold the data, and when once it reaches this server, right, it will ask, okay, do you have the IP to which we have to route this traffic? Then it's going to give this public IP because this is the entry we have made here for an A record. Okay, then it will tell this is the IP and our request goes here and we are able to see this site. Okay, so now whatever we are seeing, okay, if you see, we don't have that custom domain names, whatever Azure was providing, and we have our own domain. But this management, right, whatever we are doing, this is something we are doing it from a different third-party site, right? So that is where like what you can do is you have an option where you can take this whole setup. Okay, your domain alone will be sitting on a third party site. We can take this whole thing and tell, okay, hey, GoDaddy, I don't want to you to take the traffic. I will have all those traffic to hit the name servers on the Azure. Okay, we'll see how you can do it. You have something called DNS zone. Whatever we have seen in the previous class is the private DNS. Okay, this DNS zone is something which is for public. Okay, so let's create a DNS zone, and here I have to add my domain name. Okay, whatever is something. I have purchased, or if you have purchased, you have to add your domain name here, and there is nothing much. You go and add it here for now. Let's go and create it. So now what we will do is I am going to delete the A record, whatever we had here. And if I do a refresh, this would still work because we have something called TTL, okay, time to live. So TTL is like 30 minutes. So this is coming from the cache, okay. It's not going to the regular route which we discussed in the class. Okay, this is another proof. So all these things, whatever you see, this is coming from a cache. That's why it's able to render this page. If I'm opening a new session, now it's not going to load because I have opened a new session altogether. And okay, still this is going from the local cache only. Okay, but if someone is trying from your end, still it might pick from the cache. Maybe anyone wants to try. If you haven't opened it from your end yet, I'll give you this URL. See if it is working. Ideally for you, it should not because I have removed that entry from the cache. Anyone wants to try? Because whatever I'm getting, it's from the browser cache or the local cache. And your ISP will also have some caching. And I have also set the TTL to 30 minutes, okay, which is like half an hour. If you remember, we had something half an hour. That's why it was rendering, not working, right? Yeah. So if it is going to the actual path and if it is asking the name server, since there is no entry here, that's why I think for you, now it is saying not working. Now, what we will do is we have created this DNS zone, right? We can actually make an entry here. Okay, now we have taken this into Azure. Okay, let's go and add the A record, whatever we wanted to add. I'll use the same name. Okay, site dot. Now if you see, it's taking this site dot I'm down dot this, and it's going to be A record, and this is the TTL thing which I was talking. Okay, you can set this as well. Probably I'll just set this to 3 minutes, and let's take the public IP of the VM. Let's put it here, and I'll say add. Okay, now we have our A record. Okay, so how many of you think it is going to work now? We added the public DNS here, and I have added a A record similar to what I did in GoDaddy. So how many of you think it is going to work? This will work on because that is the IP that will not go to the DNS resolution. So that's why that one works. Yeah, this one, how many of you feel it is going to work? You can just say yes or no. So there is no correct answer. No. Okay. Anyone say feel yes since we have the A record? Okay. So Anand, like just curious. I mean, if possible, if you wanted to say, why do you think it's not going to work? Any reason?
Now, is there any entry in the inbound traffic?
Um, okay, entry in the inbound traffic, which we already made, right? So from the public IP, I'm able to reach.
Mhm.
So whatever we are discussing, it's just for the name resolution. Okay, the website is available from the IP, but what we wanted to do is, okay, let me show like this. So we have Azure, okay, and on the other hand, we have this GoDaddy. Okay, let me just. So here you have GoDaddy, and let's say here you have Azure, and you have a VM which is available here, and this has a public IP. Okay, and I told you in GoDaddy there is like something called name servers, and here you have a record which says if I'm getting a traffic to site dot I am down dot this routed to my public IP in Azure. Okay, that is what that a record is going to tell. I'll just say pip public IP. You can just remember. So here, how it will know is if you remember, we saw something called top level domain and all, right? So here, the top level domain servers will know on which name server this data is available. Okay, this is our domain name, and this is the subdomain which we have added site dot this. So if you see Google also, right, they will have you will have google.com which goes to the search engine. If you say maps.google.com, this will take you to the maps. Okay.
Mm.
Similarly, if you say drive.google.com like this, okay, you will have subdomains in that. Maps, drives like that, they will have. In our case, we have what I have done, like I've named it as site.imdown.biz. Okay. From the initial thing, the request goes to the internet. Okay. Let's say internet is something here. I'm not mentioning all the things. It goes to internet, it will check, then it will go to the name server, and then name server will tell, okay, this is the public IP. Then it will get the data and give it in the browser, user session browser. Okay. Now, what I wanted to do is like what I have done, like this domain, whatever we have here, which is I am down dot biz. I don't want to manage it from the GoDaddy side because that's again a separate thing, right? I wanted to bring it inside the Azure, and that is why we have created something called the in a zone. Okay. So any questions on this part, like whatever I have just told? So we have a DNS zone here, which can help in managing the domain name, and I have just added this entry. So till this part, any questions?
No, Naveen, it's clear.
No. Okay. So now, w- what do you think? Like, why this is not working? Any guess? Random guess? So if you look at this flow, right? So now what will happen? Now we have sent the request. It goes to the internet. It will go to the top level domain server, and it will then route the traffic to our name server. Name server will look for the entry here in GoDaddy. We don't have the entry, correct? And it's not working right now. That's the reason. Okay. So it will go to the GoDaddy and it will say, okay, boss, I don't have the entry, so I cannot tell you where it is. Okay. I don't have any valid entry. So what we have to do is, okay, so whatever we have done like this, right? If this is what it is needed, anyone can choose any domain, right? I can also put google.com and tell I want the Google, right? So there should be an additional layer. So that is where this name server, whatever Azure is providing, you have to provide this name server to GoDaddy. Okay. So right now, what is happening? GoDaddy have their own name server. Okay. Now we are going to tell GoDaddy, don't use your own name server. I will provide you a set of name servers. Okay. This name servers, whatever Azure is providing, we are going to tell GoDaddy, okay, like you should use these name servers if you get any request for I am down.biz. Okay. So like this, there are like four different name server which Azure has provided. So whoever is the owner of the domain, they should be able to go and do this change. Okay, which right now, since I'm owning that domain, what I'll do, like I'll go and say there should be a separate place where we maintain the name servers. Okay. I'll say change name servers. If you see these name servers are maintained by GoDaddy. So now I'll say I'll use my own name server. Now let's add the name servers which Azure has provided. So we have to add all of these servers, okay, for us to verify. Now, once we add these details, right, what is going to happen is whenever a request comes for our website, which is imdown.biz, GoDaddy will tell, see, I don't manage this name servers. You can talk to Azure or these name servers. So once the request hits this name servers, this traffic will be routed to Azure side. Okay. By continuing this, okay, continue. Now I'm telling GoDaddy, okay, so there is a different name servers which I wanted to use. Okay, this would take few minutes, but let's see. Okay, it is updated, right? Now it's going to hit these name servers or any traffic which is coming to our site. Once it reaches this name server site, it will come to your DNS zone, whatever we have configured now. So once it reaches our DNS zone, here, if we have a valid A record, it should be able to resolve. Okay, let's try to refresh. It should come soon. Let's see. What I will do is let's refresh. Probably I'll refresh this whole page once. This is our entry, and the public IP is correct, right? Okay, there is no alias. Let me just cross check the IP once. Let's remove this and apply. Maybe like since we have done the changes, right? It's taking some time to load. Though it says like you are using these name servers, it will just take some time sometimes. Okay. Let me see if I can open it in a different browser. Okay, it's let's see this after some time because the name server updation sometimes it take time, but that is how you actually bring things to Azure, and we do it. Sometimes it just takes some time to, I mean, verify. Okay, for example, like another thing. So we haven't talked about Entra ID, right? So I'll just show you that also. So here, if you see, right, I have the same domain which I showed you, right? If you have a free trial account or your own personal account, you will not see this as your default domain. Okay. So let's say if I say create user, for example, just to show you. So this is the domain you will get. Okay, something like this. It should be your email address with whatever Gmail, and it will be dot on Microsoft.com. For this registration also, right? I'll quickly show you like though this is like off topic, but I'm just telling you for Enter ID also you can have your custom domain registered if you go here and you can do a registration. So these are the other things which I had earlier, and this is the default one. But let's see if it is working now. No, right? Okay, fine. We'll see this after some time. Okay, but any questions on the process like what we did? No. Okay. So usually like if you are on the core DB side, right? I know we'll not be doing much of this work, but with evolution of cloud, it is good if you know all these things so that when you are troubleshooting things and all, you can confidently talk to other teams if you have like other teams who manages these things, right? So in that way, this helps. And again, like if you are going into roles like where you are going to manage the cloud and all, right? These things is going to be helpful. Okay, so let's do one thing, right? I'll do trace cert to this. It says unable to resolve, right? Wait, did I copy the domain name correctly? Let's just cross check. I am download this. Let's go here. This is correct. And records, let's verify our name servers also. Like if this dot is something, ideally it should not be, but I'm just giving it a try. Okay, whatever we had is correct only. Okay, let's save. Please retry. Okay, that's fine. Whatever we had is correct. In that case, this is one. Let me just search this as well. Let's go here. This is correct. And this is also correct. This is also correct. Okay, so there is no problem. Maybe it's just taking some time to sync, okay, so that it can route our traffic accordingly. Okay, that is the only reason. Sometimes it takes time. And the A record is also correct. There is no problem with it. Fine. So let's not spend more time. Okay, but this is how it works. We will move on to the next topic. Okay, I thought I'll talk about Azure monitoring a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be your centralized place. Okay, where you can monitor everything. Okay, so you have like activity log where you can see what all things have happened at this account level. Okay, though you have activity logs, if I, for example, if I go to the virtual machine, right? Let's go here. This here also you will have activity log, which will give you details about all the administration related activities, whatever you do from the console. Let's say if you stop the VM, start the VM. Similarly, uh, here it's going to be a central place, okay, for this whole subscription, whatever I'm doing, it is going to have the logs. And if I want to see for last 1 month what all things has happened on this account, you can come here and check. Okay, for example, like what all things we have done, etc. And from which account we have done, all those things will be visible here. And on which subscription, if you have multiple subscription, you can look for that other subscription also. And like this, you can check, okay, like what all things has been done. This is just a, I mean, initial part. So I also have another VM, okay. Let me log into that VM because I'm going to show you, okay, um, how you can configure alerts and all is something we are going to see. Let me log into this server while I show that. Because if we keep things ready, it will be easy. We should get a prompt because this is the first time I'm connecting to this server. So, okay. Now, by the way, this is a SQL server. Okay. Um, we have SQL installed inside this, and let me open Management Studio. Just say run as admin. Let's see. Okay, let that open. Let's go here. Going back to the monitoring, right? So activity log is something like you can come and filter for respective subscription, or if you are looking for what time frame you can define, and you can check. Okay. Now let's see. Let's talk about alerts. Okay. Mm, so using alerts, you can I mean, fire alerts based on different conditions, okay? Like you can send alert based on some metrics or based on some logs, based on different events you can alert. But let's see some examples, okay? I'll say like for us to configure this, you have to set up a rule basically um, for what component you are going to give an alert and for what condition and to whom this alert has to be sent. So those kind of details we would be configuring it. Okay, let's connect. And one more thing which I wanted to check is like I wanted to see if this has a mixed mode of authentication. No, right? Let me enable it and I'll just do a restart for this to affect. Because I just want to check if this is accessible from my local so that I don't have to come to VM. So let me create I mean, a SQL login account and let's see if we are able to access from the local. Okay, and I should be having my management studio here. Let's take the public IP of that VM. Because I wanted to show a demo where we will set up alert and then we'll see how that alert looks like. Let me type. Oh, okay. I did. Okay, fine. I should have done it because I didn't remove that checkbox where user has to reset their password. Okay, we are able to access it locally. Okay, that's good. Let this be as it is. Okay. Now, going back to the alerts, right? So here you can set up different levels of alerts, okay? But to start with, let's focus on VM level, okay? We have two different VMs, okay? Probably here also you can tell what kind of resource you want. If you're looking for a specific subscription, I can set the filter here and I can also tell what kind of resource I want to configure. I'll just filter for virtual machine alone. And these are the two VMs which we have. Okay. I'll just add two and I'll say apply. Now, we have to set the condition. Okay. Like on what condition an alert has to be fired. If you see, there are like multiple conditions which are available. One is percentage CPU, available memory bytes, data disk IOPS consumed. Like this, there is a whole bunch of signals which you get with Azure. Okay, whatever you have seen is just one part, but here you have like whole set of other things. Okay. So for our demo, I'll go with percentage CPU. Okay. And you have to set the alert logic, whether it's going to be a static threshold or it's going to be dynamic. So dynamic is nothing but you will be able to tell it's going to calculate the threshold for a given time and then it's going to alert. Okay, but static is going to be a fixed number. For our demo, this is fine. I'll just say if the CPU is um, averaging above 50, okay, you send me an alert. Basically, that is what we are going to tell. And here it will show you some historical numbers. Okay, that is what it's showing here. But anyways, we are not worried about this. Probably yeah, let's keep 50. Okay, I'm sure we should be able to get it. Then here you are going to tell for how at what frequency you are going to check my CPU and what is the look back period. Look back period means like if I set this to 5, for every 5 minutes it's going to check. Every 1 minute will check. For 5 minutes, if my CPU is greater than this, it's going to send an alert. For this demo, I'll just keep this also to 1 minute. Okay. So that we are able to get the alert sooner. And then right now we have set the condition. Okay. You have to define something called action group. So what has to be done when the alert is triggered? So let's create one action group. I'll just say SQL Server. I'll just say ICPU group. Okay. And probably let's keep the same name. That's fine. The display name. Next is you're going to tell what kind of notification you want. Okay. So whether you want an email uh, or you want a SMS, you can configure both. Okay. What we will do is we'll go with email. I will take this email address, whatever I have, and paste it. And I will also give my number. Okay. Just to show you. Maybe I cannot show you here, but after the class, I'll share the message in the group. Okay. How the alert looks like. I'm just giving my number. Okay. And let's press OK. So we have told to whom the notification has to be sent. Okay. And I have also given the email address and number. Next, action type. So let's say if an alert is triggered, okay, you can define if we have to take any action. Okay. So let's say you get an alert saying a service is down. So you can write, so automation runbook and all we haven't seen, which we'll see. So basically you can write a automation runbook with a custom PowerShell script and you can say, okay, go and start that service. Okay. Something like that you can write. So you can do all sort of automation and if you want to run or trigger something based on this alert, you can also do that. Okay, for now, I don't want to do it. Tags, we'll just go with that. Uh, Notification name, right? I'll just say hi CPU notification. And let's go and review and create. Let's wait for this. Okay, we have a action group. Okay, next you have to define what level of severity this is going to be. I will just say this is going to be a warning, and I'll say hmm, high CPU rule. Okay, this is the alert rule. Whatever we have given before, first is we have set the scope, then the condition for what condition it has to alert, the action to whom we are going to alert, and you are finalizing the details here. Okay, the next one is tags. Let's review and create. So let's wait for this to create, and yeah, the alert is created. If I go to alert rules, right? So you can set check the rules here. It should be here. Yeah, you see, right? This is where you define the alert, and it is a warning level alert which we have configured when the percentage of CPU go above 50%. What I will do is I'll just take this query, okay, and let's run it. Wait, what happened? Let's run this. And if I go to the server, you should be seeing CPU going high. Okay, let's see. Probably let's increase this to 5,000, at least some CPU. If that condition is not meeting, what we will do is we'll increase it. Okay, probably I think it is not going high as what I expected. Let's go here. We will edit this rule. Let's see one more time. Okay, this is around 30. It is going right. What we will do is alert rule. No, not this. Let's say edit. I wanted to change the condition. Probably we'll set it to 10, right? It's our demo only. So that should be fine. I'm sure it will be more than 10 only always. So it's around 38, right? So this meets our criteria. While this is going on, right? So this is going to take some time, at least a minute, for us to get the alerts. But what we will do is, let's see if something fired. So all these are like older ones, okay? Whatever I tested some time back. So this is one way of setting up alerts, okay? But we'll also look at the other classification, right? I'll go to the alert rule again, okay? I told you like you can set up alerts at different layers, okay? For example, I can set up an alert at resource group level also, okay? So now let's try this, okay? I'll set up an alert at resource group level. Let's apply. And whatever is happening in this lab.rg, I can again for this case the signals are going to be different. Okay, signals is like on what condition you want the alerts to be sent. Here you will get a different type of conditions. So one condition which I know is deallocation of VM. Okay, whenever a VM is stopped, it goes into deallocate status. So that's when this alert gets triggered. Probably we'll use this. Okay. And this is going to be for all the VMs in that resource group. Okay. That is what we want. And let's say action. I can use the same action group. Okay. Let me select this and we'll go to the details and we'll say, I'll just say VM stopped rule, okay, something like that, and then we'll create this. Let's create this one because this is something we can simulate it easily, okay. And let's go to the alert rules. Let's refresh, we'll see if that alert is there. Okay, this is available. Probably what we can do is details. Okay, fine. Let this be as it is. We had another server, right? So what I will do, let's stop this server. Okay, which means this will go to deallocation state, right? If we stop this, the expectation is we should get a email notification and I should also get a message saying this VM is stopped. Let's wait. And we'll also check the CPU, right? It is like constantly at around 40, and we should have gotten alert. Okay, you see, right? Okay, this says activated severity. Okay, we got this alert. Now, if you see, this is how your alert is going to be. Okay, activated severity to high CPU rule. So this rule got activated and it is telling you what is the rule, what is the resource. Okay, from by looking at this alert, you know, okay, this is the VM which is having a problem. And if you come down, you'll see like this is coming from a percentage CPU matrix, and this is on a virtual machine. You'll have the complete resource ID here, what kind of resource it is, and all other details. Okay, this is how your alert is going to be generated. Okay, whenever if CPU is high, I'll be getting this alert now. Similarly, for the VM deallocation also, right? Let's go to the monitoring and alerts. Let's refresh this one. You see this alert got triggered for high CPU. We should also get another alert for VM deallocation thing. Okay, let me also see. I will also be getting a message soon, okay, to my mobile. I will show you a sample like how that is going to look. But for now, this is how you will be getting the hope VM server down. We don't get alert. No, no, you will get. Okay, so how I'm telling is, if I go to this VM, right, or let's go to the resource group only, right? Resource group lab RG. You have activity log here. Here you will see the deallocation event. Okay, based on this event, it's going to trigger an alert. So deallocate VM machine, virtual machine, right? Now, if I go to the monitoring, like in few more minutes, you should be seeing this alert getting triggered for the VM going down. So far we got for high CPU. Okay. So soon you will get an alert for that VM down as well. So what you are saying is, oh, PM server down, we don't get an alert. So you are saying we should not get an alert, or you are asking?
Whenever the VM down on Azure, we don't get alert.
I didn't get you on. Can you please repeat it?
Okay, when the server VM server down, we don't get alert from the Azure.
Is it? No, you get it actually. I tested it. Um, and we usually get it. It's not like we don't.
We
We get it
deallocation
actually.
we may get, but for the server down, we don't get.
See, this is a server down only, right?
Yeah, as you already tried, yeah, you can, let's say. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe for restart, you're saying, is it?
No, when the okay, suppose when the server is really down or something happen on the server and the server is down, you will not get alert.
See, there can be two cases here. Okay, a restart also will say your server was down, probably for a shorter period. But if it is
The,
stopped,
the server is
it
down
is
for long time, like one
okay.
week
Yeah,
or
if
2 weeks,
it is
the
in,
server is down.
uh, in that case,
Mhm.
yes, we should get ideally. That is how this should work. If it is not getting, then there is some other problem. Let's see. Alert, alert. Okay, you see, right? VM stopped rule. Okay, let's go to the email. You see, it just took some time to send the alert, but if you see Azure monitor alert, VM stopped rule. Okay, and it's telling this is the VM, this is the time, and like similar to that, you get all the other details, whatever was available. So, if you are talking about a process level alert, yes, you might not get it, but yeah, for a normal server down, yeah, this is how the alert looks like. Okay. So it was just piling up since we set every 1 minute threshold. But yeah, we did get the alert. Okay, so this is on the alerts part. And one more thing I'll tell you. Okay, so if there is any schedule maintenance which you are going to do, right? So what you can do is, okay, you can probably go to this alert rules. There is an option to disable these alerts. Okay, I can go and disable, but the better way is, okay, because if you disable it, it depends on like what level of scope you have configured. You also have something called alert processing rule, using which you can suppress the alerts. For example, let's select the same virtual machines. Okay, for now I'll just select this one. Okay, that's fine. And if you go to the rule settings, right, you can suppress the notification. Okay, which means the alert will still get fired, but you will just snooze or you will turn off the notifications alone. Usually, like for if you are doing any planned maintenance activity and all, they'll just have this in place so that you won't be notified. And you can also schedule it for what period you want this to be suppressed, and this rule will be active only for that given period of time. So this is another thing which you have with the Azure monitoring alerts. Okay. So what I will do is I will for now disable these alerts because I don't want to be get notified again, and that's fine. We'll just disable it. So in the monitoring, we still have logs, which probably we'll discuss in the next session. Okay. I'll stop the recording. And